Hello. Um, this video is dedicated to my 10 subscribers in the last month. Thank you for, I guess, subscribing. I'm not a monetized channel, and anytime this channel or channels before this one hit 100, I would disappear. So in some way, I'm trying not to disappear. This practice has helped me personally, professionally, um, and I'll share a little bit about my journey into speaking and putting myself out there. Mm. When I moved to a different state, I kind of left my friends and family behind, and I only had my husband back then in 2009, which is 9. uh, it took me a year to get accustomed to not being in everyone else's business, but I realized that I was always around for other people, but removing myself kind of made me realize like it wasn't reciprocated. And even if I asked for a slight morsel of reciprocation, it was opposed, and I should come across as entitled. Anyway, I decided to venture out, and thankfully, my husband at the time was not possessive, and he encouraged me to venture out. And I attended a an informal acting school, um, improvisation. I did that for I think 6 months, and I even worked there uh, for the owner uh, for a few hours. Sometimes it's nice being around her. Uh, After that, I joined a Toastmasters, dining Toastmasters club. So there, I was able to get comfortable with eating with strangers and speaking to them while eating. Mm. The club kind of like fell away because people didn't want to spend money, like at least $25 every meeting. Anyway, then I found um, another Toastmasters club in a high school. And when I found it, it was only 5 people in the room, and I was comfortable with a small group of people. I did admit that I was an introvert, and all of them were delighted because they knew, ooh, she needs this Toastmasters thing. Um, but before that, I had graduated with my undergrad in communications because it was a lifelong thing that I was always at a loss for words. And people used to call me dumb, conceited, not all there, disengaged, blah, blah, blah. And if somebody said, "You're so quiet," I just be quiet. Well, I realized yesterday I I do a lot. I have more fun when I'm kind of not in your face, not out there. Like I love writing. Um, I love writing, and I think it makes more of an impact. Like because I get to censor myself. I'm there thinking about it, responding to it, writing to it, and I recognize it like greatly when I was on Writers Cafe and I was getting a lot of attention and without my face, and I thought to myself, I'm showing a part of myself that's more revealing, that's more me. Hmm. Writing then became not an escape. It became like where I face my reality. yeah, then I kind of like, I don't know, lost the luster for poetry to be vague because poetry is very vague, but it could be very revealing too. Anywho, um, when it comes to Toastmasters, I was there for 5 years. The club grew from 5 people to 30 people, and it was very exciting. And that last year, in 2013, no, 2015, yes, 2015, I was the club president, and I realized that being that or volunteering to be a club president taught me a lot about myself. And even though the club thought I was not an introvert no more, they literally gave me an award saying introvert no more. I was still exhausted by it. But I'm no longer afraid to speak up. I'll leave a clip of me at the time in the club. I also want to share that in the manual there's a 10th speech, the competent communicator. The 10th speech was the longest speech, and I had to inspire my audience for 10 minutes. And I remember that speech so vividly. I shared the story of going to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor asked me, "What are your habits?" I'm on a computer, I drive. Oh, and sometimes I wear old glasses because I can't find my updated prescriptions. He said, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." I said, "You know what? That's great life advice." Then it took me on a journey of how many glasses of others am I wearing? How many perceptions am I wearing? How am I not seeing clearly? Because I'm wearing everyone else's perspective frames. And life has been very liberating since then. I was reminded about Toastmasters because on my interview with a UPS manager earlier this week, he noticed my mic and he's like, "Are you a blogger?" And I said, "Even if I was, I wouldn't tell you." But he did ask me about my time in Toastmasters. It was very dynamic conversation. And if anything, what I've learned in my time with all this practice and exercises, I knew back then I let others carry the conversation or dominate the conversation. Now I know how to have one. And when I was younger, I used to like spend all this time wondering about people's silences. But now I know it's up to them to offer, to open up, and not make me carry the conversation. We have a tendency to be hard on each other, don't we? But throughout these 5 years, I realized that we're hard on each other because we see each other as strong. So I thank you for that. You have a way of taking a speech, a blob of clay, and spitting it out. And that's what you did tonight. You took a blob of clay and somehow you made it into a structure. But again, I'm missing the engaging factor. You love to put on a show. Just like, Bugs Bunny. But I want to see you really connect to everybody. Like really
look at them and engage them and remember their names. Because you're not here by yourself. We're here with you and we're watching every step you take. And we want to give you constructive feedback, something that will build you up, not tear you down, as strong as you are. Strong as you are. But I'm going to tear you down anyway. You spoke about Batman, but you didn't, signal, like, you have a prop right there around your waist. That was perfect. That would have been totally entertaining. And like the Dark Knight, you rise. He didn't pay attention to Javier. He was screaming almost with the red card. But he was very polite as usual, because maybe he doesn't see you as strong. And then you always make contact with your mother. Always. Maybe for reassurance, I don't know, but here you have other people looking at you. And you avoided eye contact with me because you knew that I was going to get everything. You have a wonderful smile. Use it more often. Thank you. It's an easy role to make people laugh. I heard this really good joke, but it's all about delivery. And I wouldn't be able to do it between 1 to 2 minutes. But I'm going to try just a little bit. There was a man speeding on the highway, and he was being pulled over by a state trooper. The state trooper said, "I will not give you a ticket if you give me a reason that I've never heard before." He said, "Okay. My wife ran off with a state trooper, and I thought you were bringing her back." Could be, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered for the person that never listened? Speaking Lead is a great club because there are members there that have been there for 20 years, 10 years, 3 years, and everyone's progression is different.